the good life. Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say, where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it. In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right. No, it's not hard to fool me. No, 'cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say, where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it. In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right. No, it's not hard to fool me. No, 'cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yes. Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say, where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it. good life.
Yes.
Yeah, lead the way. I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it.
Welcome to the Waiting Table podcast. Great episode today. This is going to be a really, really fun one. This is a bit of a different one for us today, I think. This one is going to be a mixture of a few different types of podcasts in terms of talking about what we're going to be talking about. I think this one's going to be part reflection, part announcement, but all celebration. So it's going to be a super, super interesting one for us, I think. So again, everyone, welcome to the Waiting Table podcast, where we have roundtable discussions about the hottest topics in weight loss with, of course, and today is no exception, the coolest people from the bariatric community. I'm Rob, waiting in vain. This is Murph, aka Murph's Losing It. Grab a chair, wind down from your busy day or your holiday if you're off like I was, and take a seat at the table. Murph, how's it going, buddy?
Going really good, man. Like you said, I'm super excited about this episode, last one of 2022, and we've just got so many awesome things to talk about, and I'm ready to hit the ground running. Let's go.
Right. And so, as I had mentioned, along with Murph and I sharing our year, we'll be joined by an amazing fellow bariatric patient. She's also a new podcaster and YouTuber, Shea Quinn at Grow with Shea. As we reflect on some of the highlights of our first year, discuss our New Year's resolutions and goals for 2023, and again, share some fun and exciting news. Welcome, Shea.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are excited to have you for sure. This is so exciting. Yeah.
Gosh, can you believe it's the end of 2022? Like, as you were saying that, Rob, I was just like, it's so wild. And I know we say that every year, right? Like every year we're like, how's it the end of the year? Broken record, but still it's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah. It's nuts. And especially with the months like December, like we're already like Christmas already came and went, and it's just like, what in the
We're
heck?
in the
like,
weird in-between week now, nobody knows really what to do in this week. It's
right.
kind of
That's
funny.
what I was saying earlier. I honestly, when I started to record that, I did not know what day it was.
Yeah.
Had it not been for us going live, and I know we go live on Wednesday nights, that was the only thing that was my compass. I was like, wait, we're going live tonight. That means it's Wednesday.
Like, do you guys consider, like, when you say like happy holidays, or like, I never know in this week, like, does New Year's count as a holiday? So is it like, or has the holidays passed? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
It's part of it for me.
I think it's part of it. I think it has to be part of it. Yeah. Ringing in the new year.
So we're still in the holidays.
We're still in the holidays. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm officially off work until next Monday, or next Tuesday. So I'm still considered. It's still considered holidays for me.
There you go.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we settled it.
Yeah, and I think the big reason for a lot of us, and you definitely, at different points of our bariatric journey, that first year it's gold, right? There's so many big changes, so many things that happen, and not to say that it doesn't happen for us a year in or 2 years in or whatever the case might be. But I think everyone who's had bariatric surgery, or not even if they've had bariatric surgery, they've had a big life change like this. That initial year where everything is just totally different, it's a revelation. Shea, can you tell us more about your story, please?
Yeah. So I'm 9 months post bariatric surgery. I got the vertical sleeve gastrectomy this year in March. Super happy with my decision. But yeah, so I when I got my surgery, it was a big decision. Obviously, those that are kind of in the process of making that decision right now, you know what I mean? Or those that have made it, you totally get it. But it was it took a lot of time to think through it, and how that decision kind of, or what got me thinking about bariatric surgery is my husband and I had been trying to get pregnant for several years and it wasn't working. There was just a lot of metabolic dysfunction within my body where I was like, I really want to get pregnant and I've tried all of these other methods. Could bariatric surgery really be an option for me? And so that's kind of what led me down that road of looking into it, finding research that showed people who have bariatric surgery can actually have really healthy pregnancies, healthy babies. It got me really excited that there was this hope of like, not only the chance to get pregnant later on, but also the hope of just having like a functioning metabolic system. You know, I was 26 years old. I should have been in my like metabolic prime, if you will. Yeah. And physically though, I just felt awful. And there's a lot of things that contribute to that. But I ultimately decided, you know what, I'm going to try this. And I felt ready. And so that's kind of how my journey started. Since then, I've just been growing a ton, learning more about my true identity and exploring what that looks like. And I think the time before I got to that, I was in a really like hopeless season. And what really helped me was just being able to connect with people and see people that had similar journeys to me or similar struggles. And I thought, well, I'm okay to share that with other people. I might as well do that because it was helpful for me. And it's turned out to be a blast. So that's like a little bit about my story, a little snippet of it.
That's really awesome. One of the things that I noticed on your Instagram channel and even your YouTube channel, and you can totally plug away all of that stuff here in a bit, is just, and we talked about it a little bit last night, is the positivity that you just kind of are bringing to the table, literally and figuratively. You know, where does that positivity come from? How is it? Are you always that positive? That was something we talked about last night. But you know what I mean? Like, what are you going through these days?
Yeah, you know, the ironic thing about it is I used to think I was a really positive person, but really I was just kind of living in this like toxic positivity, which I did start a podcast this week. I actually have a guest that's going to come on where we're going to talk more about that toxic positivity. So it's all in my Instagram if you guys want to check that out. But so before I was living kind of like with this mask on where I was pretending to be positive, pretending to be something that I wasn't. And since having bariatric surgery, like, honestly, I just feel like I have such a deep internal joy because it's coming from the Lord, like from God, and I'm not pulling from myself anymore within that. And so it's the ironic thing, or what I was trying to get at, is I have probably cried more in this year than I have in like my whole life combined, yet I've felt the most peace and the most joy than what I've ever experienced in my whole life. So like, positivity doesn't mean that you're just like happy all the time, only have those like quote unquote good emotions. There's been a lot of really difficult emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of disappointment, a lot of grief. But through that has come so much peace and healing. And that's what has brought me at least like this genuine joy. I'm not like pretending anymore like I used to.
That's good.
That's good. Awesome. Because I think everyone thinks of the bariatric journey as our physical journey. We know that a lot of it is mental, but a lot of it's going to be emotional as well, right? And I think it's not necessarily, how to stay positive, but it's how to come to terms with being positive or being negative and what sort of causes that. And I think through the journey of losing weight, for me, I know it was also a matter of me understanding what those factors were that led me to feel specific ways. And are those ways that I wanted to feel? Are those ways that I was proud of feeling? And if not, what was the root of that and how can I change that? And I think I had a better idea once I was in a physical place where I wanted to be, right? Because that eliminated that factor as the reason why I hated X or hated Y, right?
Yes.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and the language I use for that is really like I didn't have capacity before losing weight. Like so much of my mental and emotional energy was spent on like how to physically get healthier, and just it was pulled in so many directions that for me, getting the surgery and having that barrier kind of eliminated, it was a little scary at first because it's like, oh my gosh, now I actually have to deal with my issues. But it was also kind of nice just to have more capacity where it's like, okay, I don't have to worry so much about like you still have to pay attention to physical stuff when and there's a lot of physical things, but it's not like I was constantly striving to lose weight. And that had been so much of my life. And it's like, okay, that's naturally happening now. So I can actually make space and time to heal and grow in more of those like mental, emotional, and spiritual ways. So it's nice having the capacity now to do that, now that that's not taking up as much brain power these days.
Yeah. So, with it being your first year, you're in your first year, and since this is our New Year's show and we're closing out the year, let me ask you this, and not physical, unless physical was your main sort of goal.
Mm-hmm.
But can you share with us one of your main goals and that main goals that you did accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
And can you share with us one of your goals that you maybe didn't accomplish yet, but you're working to try to adjust to do that? I'm going to ask you the same thing, Murph.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think put me on the spot. No, it's interesting because it's kind of difficult to answer because going into this year, I didn't really have a lot of hope. And you guys will learn this very quick about me. I tend to cry, and I'm hoping, Murph, you don't let me down because you said you cry a lot too. So don't leave me hanging. You can cry too if you want.
I'll cry with you. Yeah.
Okay,
fine.
perfect. But I didn't really have much hope going into this year, even though I knew that I was going to get surgery. I knew that most likely there would be a positive benefit from it. I couldn't even grasp the concept of setting goals, even setting a goal weight, setting anything like that, because I think just deep down, I felt like I couldn't do it. I couldn't heal. There was something wrong with me that I wouldn't be able to achieve that or accomplish that. And so I really didn't have any goals in going into this new year. I knew I wanted to get the surgery. I wanted to get healthier, but that's kind of as far as I would allow myself to go. And so I think going into the new year, just allowing myself to actually dream and say goals out loud without the fear of shame holding me back or the fear of failing holding me back. I think that is honestly my 2023 goal in and of itself, is just to allow myself to dream. So
Nice.
I don't know if that's the answer you were necessarily shooting for, but that's just honestly how it was in the beginning of the year. I didn't really have any. And I feel like this upcoming year, though, I have lots of dreams and goals. And so that's a cool play and different place to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. I experienced something similar, I suppose, but not in 2022. For me, it was 2021. That's when I had my surgery in June. And, for me, my first and foremost, most important goal was, because I had blown discs in my back, I wanted to be able to sleep in a bed again, because I had to sleep in a recliner for 3 to 4 years. It was a long period of time. I couldn't sleep in bed with my wife. I couldn't move. I lived in a recliner. And so that goal, physical, but also, God, what a mental toll that took, you see the shows, you see people. I was one of those people, and I couldn't believe that I was one of those people, And so for 2022, I think my goals were very mental health driven. I wanted to gain confidence. I wanted to be able to do something like this in front of people and share my story and talk and maybe cry, but I try not to.
We'll get you there, Rob. I just had to break the ice. We'll be crying by then.
We'll see.
And so this year there were some physical goals for me. I don't know if you want to go more in depth, Rob, but
Yeah, man.
I've got a list. I got to ride roller coasters with my kids. I got to go to Cedar Point, and that was the first time in like 9 or 10 years. I got in 24,000 steps in the first day, 26,000 steps in the second day, and finished the day like a hummingbird. Like I felt great. Like I could have gone, more, but they were closing the park, and they had to kick me out. And I fit on every single ride and had a blast. Made memories with my family. Here you go.
I knew we'd get you, Murph.
Yeah, I got it. Because that for me is just that's what it's all about. I spent so much time in physical pain, which led to mental pain, and so you're trying to unroll this ball of wax that you've created. You know what I mean? You're trying to melt off some of the things, and so 22 for me was super huge. I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad for the surgery. 2021, I think my back was feeling better by the end of 2021, and that was really the big thing. But then 2022 was when it just all blew up, and I was just doing things that I never thought I'd do again. And then here I am doing this with you guys. So this is lots of different. I'm really excited. Lots of really cool things in 2022.
That's awesome, man. For me, it's interesting because, as we know that it's been over 2 years for me since my surgery, 2 years, 3 months. And so I love hearing everything from both of you guys because I've been at both stages. And sorry, before I continue, anyone else who's on the pod right now, if you want to share with us what your biggest goal is this year that you've accomplished, because I know that there's been some amazing ones we've followed along with a lot of our viewers, and we've celebrated with you guys. Please share it because I think everyone should be celebrated for this.
Absolutely.
But for me, seeing where you guys are, it gets me so excited for your part of the journey, your next part of the journey. So with Shea, I remember exactly what you're saying about not having goals. For me, I didn't feel that until later on, until I had lost 150 pounds or ish. It was a conversation I had with my brother where he was sort of like, we were talking about investments and talking about planning ahead and all this stuff. And he was just like, I've never seen you talk about investments or planning. And we were fishing. I remember it was like 6 a.m. we were fishing, sunrise, everything. And it hit me that I never planned because I was never excited about the life that I was currently living. And I wasn't excited about the life ahead. And now I was excited. I was excited about who I was or who I am, excited about where I'm going, excited about going there with my family and friends. And so for me, like, I see that in you so much. So I love, and we've talked about some of the goals and some of the things that you want to do. And I love seeing that because I know that next year, just listening to Murph, all the things he did in that year, I can't wait to hear that with you. Murph, with all the things that you had mentioned, oh my God, I absolutely, if people don't know, we've mentioned a lot. Murph and I are like the same person almost.
Brothers from another mother.
Exactly. Like literally, we're both drummers. We both have back pain. I have 4 herniated discs. I was also in a wheelchair. I also slept in a recliner for 6 months, all these different things. And so when I see his posts about going to the gym or walking and going and enjoying all these rides, I'm just like, damn, like that's amazing. I remember when I did it and it was like such a big thing. So I absolutely love seeing you celebrate all these things and being so excited about that. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
For me, my goal this year was to not let my weight loss be my identity anymore. Because I feel like in the first year, 2 years, it's such a big thing. Everyone you see, if you haven't seen in a long time, everyone you see that, you see all the time, they're just like, I can't believe this is you. I can't believe this is you, all this stuff. And it's amazing. But I feel like at some point during this whole thing, that ends up being just you, the guy who was this and now is this. And there was a Rob that was in there before when I was 380. And there is that same Rob here, just a slightly different version. And so for me, that was really where I wanted to go, and I wanted to prove myself professionally to do that, and I did that, and with other aspects of my life, and I did that, and I'm moving forward. That sort of I want to find that balance of
Mhm.
being the Rob who is a bariatric patient who's lost the weight and doing all these other things, as well as the Rob who's always been there, who's never changed at all from the guy who was 380, but finding that balance. So that's for me what my goal was this year in 2022.
That's good. That's really good.
I'm curious, Rob, with that, like talking about identity, do you feel like as you get to know more of yourself, are there things that you recognize from like when you were a kiddo that stick out a lot? Like, oh, there he is again.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's interesting because I tend to live, I'm very cinematic in the way my mind thinks. So I'm constantly thinking, and I see things like a movie. So like I'll see something like a sitcom where all of a sudden there's a flashback to this. Or if I'm drunk, oftentimes my drunkenness in my head is acting out like a movie, like Can't Hardly Wait or something. And it's like everything is very cinematic to me in the way in my brain. And so oftentimes things will happen and automatically my mind will jump to those specific times. And I often see this with me as a parent now. And certain things my parents said, and certain things my parents said that I didn't understand, or certain things that I said I'd never do and why, and me understanding those things a lot more now. And yeah, a lot of that innocence that I had back then, I carried a lot of guilt when I was bigger. And I think that's one thing that we aren't necessarily we don't come to terms with. Like there's a lot of things that we are fully aware of, but the guilt that some of us might carry because of what we may have missed out or been unable to do, I think I've been able to hide that and suppress that for a long time. So yeah, you definitely see a lot more.
Yeah, I just resonate a lot with what you're saying of like having the two identities of like, this is the Rob that lost a bunch of weight. And then this is actually like who Rob really is. I have noticed that in the past, I have had different compartments for like, it was like I was managing 10 different people. Like I had the Shea at work, the Shea at, with family, the Shea in social environments, like 10 different people. And having my surgery was the catalyst of learning who Shea actually is. And it's so much more freeing and it's just so much easier where I get to be Shea with you guys. I get to be the same Shea in any environment I'm in. And what I've done or haven't done, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define my worth. And I just resonated a lot with how you were talking about that.
And it's so exhausting. So in sales, a lot of what we do is learning how to communicate with different types of people, right? In terms of their personalities, and a big part of that is really understanding who you are. And I was doing this test now and looking back at the test I had done back when I was 380, and it's so interesting to see the differences and the different type of person I actually am versus who I've always put myself forward as. And it's exhausting to always be like, I'm this person. And now I think back at a lot of the reasons why I would put myself out as that type of person. And I know exactly why. It's because I would try to draw attention away from the fact that I was big, or away from the fact that I was sweating because I was in so much pain, or all these different things. We talked about that, right? Like always, doing certain things. So I'm the first one to point it out before other people would point it out type thing.
It's that self-punishment, the shame that drives self-punishment.
Yeah. And opposite of that is what Dee's comment was in regards to self-integrity. He said, I trust myself now. This year has taught me that I'm capable of keeping my own promises to myself. Self-integrity would be the phrase. And that's awesome. And Dee, like we've followed you along for quite a while now, and you've done amazing. And I absolutely love not just what you've done physically, because that's amazing, but every week seeing you here and reading your comments about, oh, I didn't think about that, or I feel more comfortable sharing something like this as a result of going through everything. I absolutely love the growth that we're seeing. It's so good. It's so amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, Rob, what you were saying too, I mean, that's definitely something that I always struggled with, being a bigger guy. You know, I've always kind of been a big guy. Even when I played sports, I wasn't like I can't remember the last time I was this thin. I
Yeah.
think, you know, I'm definitely thinner than I was in high school, because I know I was like 215 in high school, and then junior high. Maybe I'm about the size I was in junior high. But anyways, you know, I was always just kind of the big funny guy,
Yep.
and I would mask that emotion of hurt or pain. And I'm thinking, like, everybody's laughing at me. I'm the class clown. I'm funny.
Yeah.
Why am I still so sad? Why am I dealing with depression? Why am I eating my feelings? Why is this an outlet? Why am I not playing football and feeling better about myself, or basketball or hockey or whatever whatever I was playing? I'm not feeling good about myself. And so I'm learning now, you know, I'm 40 now. So this is, 20 plus years ago. I'm learning that my, confidence in myself, loving myself, being able to trust myself with not just food choices, but all the choices in my life,
Right.
trusting me to catch me, to, I can fall back on me, lean on me, and then something that you had mentioned earlier, Shea, too, lately this thought process has turned into trusting God for me, and leaning more into his understanding for my goals and my purpose in life, and making sure it lines up with what I know is true, what he says about me, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. So it's a lot to unpack. It's things that I've known my whole life, but now, the back pain's not there. I'm sleeping good. I don't have to worry about overeating, or sometimes what I'm eating. I can just live now, and I
Yeah.
absolutely love being in this place where I can just live and eat, and I don't have to focus on what I'm eating anymore, and I don't have to be funny. I don't have to impress anybody. I just want to be happy, with who I am, and my own skin, and do what I love to do. So
Well, because your worth isn't tied to it anymore. I think
Right.
that's, where I sat for a long time, where it's like being the funny friend or contributing, or if the only worth I have is in what other people think of me or what I can contribute to other people. And the way that I like to look at it is like, worth is not dependent on any of that, because that is so freaking unstable. And I think of like when I make it sound like I remember like, oh, when I was a baby, like, I don't know why I said it that way, but like, I think about when I was a baby, I wasn't contributing. I wasn't like, maybe I was cute. Like, that's probably the only way I was contributing. Right.
Big value.
Compared to like when I'm, on my deathbed, probably not contributing that much then. But what is my worth different in those 2 seasons compared to now? Because maybe now I am contributing more. No, my worth has always been the same. So, it's just, for my mind, an easier way to think about where your worth lies. And that's a big question that I think many of us can relate to. If we don't find our worth in X, Y, and Z, where do we find it? And that's something I am still learning and growing in. So it's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But you know what? And I think that we've talked about this. I think I've mentioned this almost every pod. The importance of being dynamic and being able to adapt, right? And yes, we spent many, many years trying to be that funny guy, funny person. But now that we are happier, better physically in regards to where we are, we still have that funny thing. Like, we still have it. So now we have that's just another thing to us, right? Now we just know that I could be funny, and that's just me naturally now. Like, that's not me having to do something. I could just be myself and not care. Because literally I just and you mentioned it, Shea, like, I want to be the same person everywhere. So me, with my kids, with my friends, with my colleagues, with my customers, I'm the exact same person now. And I remember putting on a mask and being that funny guy here and being this person here. I will be the exact same person with everyone now. Obviously, I will say different things to people, but I like the fact that I can just be me now, right?
Mhm.
And you guys mentioned like being able to trust yourself to do that is huge. It's one of the biggest gifts I think that we've given ourselves here, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're
Definitely.
practicing a sense of consistency. After you have bariatric surgery, you know, you hear it a million times. Consistency is key. Consistency is
Yeah.
key. You know, and now we're practicing. You know, me, you know, being what am I now? 19 months out. Rob, you're a little over 2 years. Shea, you know, 9 months. We've all heard it. And I feel like, you know, that first year is a gift, and you're setting yourself up for the following, and you're trying to get those habits into place. And maybe we don't even realize it, or I mean, it's just kind of light bulbed for me, but like, you know, I've been practicing consistency for the past year and a half. And so now maybe I feel like I can be more consistent with who I actually am at work, at church, at, you know, at home with my kids, you know, because I'm starting to line things up and be consistent in all areas of my life, which is healthy.
Well, and the funny thing is too, like I noticed that the more, or like before I used to approach things like, okay, I need to be consistent. I need to start habits now. I need to do. It's me. I'm the problem. That new Taylor Swift song, like that's what I was saying before it was even a thing. And now though, it's like the closer or the more that I live in who I was created to be, all those other things seem to fall into place a lot easier. Like when I'm being who I was created to be, I tend to be eating food that feels good. I tend to be giving my body movement because that feels good. I tend to be in good communication and relationships with people who foster my identity. So it's like, at least that's the lens I view, where it's like, I've been surprised this year stepping back going, wow, it was really this easy. Like, not saying there wasn't a lot of hard things incorporated, and maybe easy isn't the right word, but I didn't realize how natural it could feel or how simple it could feel. And that's been really cool.
Yeah,
definitely. For sure. So we're sharing a ton of highlights. So let's actually just go to highlights. And I want to link it to, you know, Shea, you do YouTube as well as podcasts as well, and you just jumped into it, which is amazing because, like Murph said, it is daunting getting up in front of all these people that you don't really know other than social media, and many people you don't know at all, and sort of bearing your soul and going all out there and talking about everything. So in regards to the pod and Murph, in regards to the waiting table, if you can share a couple of highlights from that, and maybe a couple personal highlights as well in 2022. So Shea, go ahead.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I was kind of enthralled in what you were saying. I thought it was directed to Murph. Can you repeat the question so I can apply it more to myself? I thought Murph was going to go first.
Share with us some. I feel like you guys are just trying to pass the buck to. Okay, Murph, you start first.
Rob, you go first. Go ahead.
No, I was just so enthralled and like.
The question is some highlights on a personal level.
Highlights. Okay.
But also some highlights on your podcast level, right? So with Murph, you know, maybe some of our episodes or certain things that happen on certain episodes. For example, see, I'm buying you guys time.
Okay, yeah, see, thank you.
Wow, that Berry Nation episode last week that went for an hour and 40-ish minutes was, for me, it was awesome. I was just like, oh my God, when are they going to say, can we stop now? But they didn't. And I was loving being in there and asking questions. And I think for me, in regards to that episode, one of the biggest highlights is our discussion afterwards when we were talking about a possible Niagara Falls, Canada meetup that I will help organize in the bariatric community, which would be friggin' amazing. I will work I guess I'm officially saying that it's going to happen this year, I guess.
We're holding you to it. I want to go to Niagara Falls. That sounds like a blast.
Yo, it'll be so awesome. We're going to do a wine tour that I plan a lot. We are going to drink very little wine and get super drunk because we can't drink a lot of wine, and it will be amazing. So yeah, it'll be super fun. I would love to work with Berry Nation in regards to organizing that. Look, Dee's signed up for that.
Dee's on board. All right.
Mary's gonna sign up for that. She hasn't said anything, but I'm telling.
Mary is signing up for that. Mary, you're coming.
So I think that was one of the highlights for me. And you know, we said this before on one of our previous shows, going to your place and and doing the
Oh,
live at your place. There you go, Mary's
you,
in.
you just took
That
mine.
for me was one of the highlights because, when I think of pods, I love sitting in a room. I love reading people physically. I like communicating with people physically, and sharing body language when you talk. I just love it, and it's so hard to do it this way.
Yeah.
Like I literally want to be around a table like we were and just sit and look at each other and talk, right?
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
the whole idea behind this. Yes, Anne is there, and just so you know,
Anne's in.
Anne, along with I think
We got
7, 8,
5, 6
9
now.
other bariatric, 7, 8, or 9. I might be making up those numbers. Bariatric patients in Ontario. We all signed up for a triathlon in Muskoka, and we are going to kill it. We've been talking about meeting up and doing something like that. We're talking about how we can train together on certain things. So super proud of that group, the Ontario Bariatric Fitness Group, and we'll do that. Oh, look, Carrie's gonna come too. She's also doing the triathlon. So yeah, all those highlights from a show point of view. And I'm not going to share the personal thing because we're running out of time. So go for it, Murph.
All right. So Rob, you stole mine. You come in here. Yeah, no, I can't pick. All right, yeah. So no, but you coming here was fantastic because that was the first time we met. We got to sit at my table, which is the whole point of what we're doing. Yeah, just to be able to sit at a table and have conversations like this. And everybody that's on right now, it's fluctuating, of course, but I mean, 13 people, 14, 15, 16 of us right now sitting around this table, having this conversation about things that we've accomplished this year or things that made us happy this year and just celebrating life. Like that's what this is all about. And you know what I mean? And yeah, we might all have the commonality of bariatric surgery and some might not. And that's cool too. You're welcome as well. And I just love it. And so you come into my house and us having pad thai and taking that shot, together and cheersing together and making it physical, like you physically hear it. I didn't mean like getting physical.
Now I know why you guys play sexy music in the beginning.
That's it. That's how we warm up for the show.
Hey, no, that was, total. That was definitely a highlight for me. Having our wives on was really cool. Having our daughters on, was a lot of fun.
It was a shit show. I
and
said
just everybody.
Word. Sorry, guys, but it was.
It
was.
Awesome. It was. Yeah. It was just asking the same questions. Yeah. How do you feel about Daddy now? And that was it. Like, could have been done in 3 minutes.
Okay, we need to save this for like a 10-minute episode, like a short.
Yeah. It was hilarious. But and then just the simple fact that we started a podcast together after me watching and learning from you for like a year, and then the honor of you asking me to start this with you, and it's like that was just so mind-blowing and exciting for me. After being on a couple different other podcasts, I really got bit by that bug, but I didn't know how to do it, and Rob wanted to team up, so it was like, heck yeah, like it's all just it's coming, it's just all working together. So yeah, it's been great. I'm loving it.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, I feel adequately prepared now. Thanks
for teaming me up with that. As long as I could.
Oh, thank you. So I don't know if one of my best friends, Taylor, she's on here. We just did it. I just shared a YouTube video with her in it, but she taught me the phrase sparkle and farkle. So it's kind of like sparkle and farkle. So like highs and lows, like you guys were just sharing all your sparkles. So as you were talking, I'm like, oh, okay, they're doing a sparkle farkle kind of situation. I got it. I'm in. I'm good now. So sparkle for me, or high, however you want to say it. I think just like I kind of touched on it earlier, but just like having hope and like just being excited again. Like I just have so much excitement and momentum and purpose, and doing my YouTube channel again, like the thought of putting myself out there in such a public way a year ago even would have freaked me out. Like, and even doing it, like starting it, it was definitely scary. But again, realizing my worth isn't tied up in what the outcome is of this. I feel really led and called to do it. So you know what? I'm just going to do it. And it's turned out to be such a blast, even just for the pure fact of like capturing moments in my life that are meaningful, even if I'm the only one watching the videos. Like I'll go back and watch them just because it's like looking at a scrapbook. Like it's so cool in that way.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that's just caught me by surprise is just this community that I found, again, with the bariatric folks. But like you said, Murph, like there's so many other people involved in that realm. And for so long, I was kind of like cocooned, and I needed to be in this like place of like isolation to just figure some stuff out and heal and process. And now I feel like I'm kind of like spreading my wings more, seeing who's out there, like making new connections. And that's just not something I was anticipating from getting bariatric surgery. That never crossed my mind. Yeah. So that's definitely been like a sparkle for sure in this last year, is just all these new cool people that this one common thing has brought us together. But like, we're so much more than just the surgery. It's just cool that that's the linchpin for whatever reason that brought us all together. That's so cool.
Yeah. I mean, everything in life has a purpose, has a meaning, has a reason. And the three of us are here right now with these other people. And it's like, we wouldn't be here had it not been for the struggles that we faced, you know, growing up, the traumas that we've been through, all those bad things. Maybe, you know, the addictions, all of it, you know, it's all coming to a head. And now we're working on things positively together in a community. It's just amazing. So we don't have much time left. I think we need to get to some goals for 2023. And
for sure, before that, I just want to, I'm sorry, I haven't kept up with the comments there are a couple comments on Facebook as well as YouTube, which is amazing because people are tuning in on YouTube now, which is great. Musin Jackson says hi. Hello, Musin Jackson. Robert Elliott Fuller. What's
that's my dad?
Is it?
Hey,
yeah,
hey, Dad.
He was to troll us.
Here, there you go. Keep sharing the growth. Thank you very much, Robert.
Very
nice name. Oh yeah, you said that your dad's name is Robert.
Yep, that's him. That's my dad.
Candace Bainbridge Babcock. Looking forward to meeting everyone in person. Candace is also doing the triathlon with us.
Sweet.
And she's gonna come to Niagara as well. She didn't say she's going to. I just said she will. So sorry, Marv. Go ahead.
So that's all the time we have now for the Waiting Table podcast.
Yeah, sorry. And
bye.
Bye. No. So I just getting to the goals, and I had promised earlier in our video, our promo video, that we wanted to talk about the goals that we have for 2023, and one of the boxes that we've already checked. So real quick, I guess let's go to Shea. Where can everybody watch your YouTube videos and find you on Instagram, and what are you doing, and what are your goals for 2023? Just in 2 minutes, if you can.
I'll make it quick. You guys can find me at Grow with Shea. That's grow with, and then Shea as in shea butter, SHEA. So I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, reluctantly, not by choice. And I also started a podcast called Grow with Shea. Right now you can find it on Anchor and Spotify, hoping to get it to Apple Podcasts soon enough here. Check me out. That sounded so weird. Yeah. I'm still like working on the self promo thing, as you guys can tell. Yeah. Right, I won't say check me out. That I'm vetoing that.
Play the sexy time.
Yeah. That's right. Check me out. So yeah, you guys can go find me on there. I have some really fun things coming in the new year. My dad that commented, I'm going to take him on a surprise trip. He doesn't know where we're going. So I'm not going to say it here because he's, I think, watching. So I'm going to go with him to that. We're doing lots of traveling this year, and I'm going to like vlog most of it and put it up on YouTube. So if you want to see my crazy shenanigans in 2023, that's where they will be.
Very cool. Very cool.
Your dad said, "Welcome, newbies."
I know. That's my dad. You guys have to go see our vlog. You guys will totally get him more after seeing that. I made him wear a Justin Bieber shirt to Universal Studios. So if that doesn't sell you,
great Canadian.
I don't know what will.
I'm just kidding. Not very Canadian, but he's Canadian.
He is. Yeah.
Murph, goals for 2023.
Goals for myself personally, and some New Year's resolutions. The big one at the top of the list for me is I want to quit vaping and smoking. I don't know why I started again. It was just boredom, I guess, or just, I don't know, but it's become a thing and I don't like it. And I'm working really hard to be healthy. I had a surgery to be healthy. So it's like, there's no excuse for it. And I don't need it. I never needed it before. And so I want to quit smoking. What else for me? 2023. I talked about it a little bit when we were talking to Barry Nation. I'd like to go back to therapy and really just deal with a lot of the mental side of things. I think I've just kind of scratched the tip of the iceberg on some of this stuff, and I want to be better mentally, because I know I'll go further if I am. So I want to be, I want to have a strong mind so that I can have a strong body as well, and they can coexist. And then I'd like to go back to school, and I'm not going to talk anymore about that, but I'd like to go back to school. What else? And then we've got some goals here for the Waiting Table podcast, some things that we want to do in 2023. Sure. Do you want me to say those goals now, Rob? Okay, great. Sure. So for 2023, we want to get on Spotify. I think we want to get on Apple Tunes, right? And and maybe another streaming source of some kind, maybe a TikTok. I don't know if we want to do TikTok or not.
Not dancing.
I feel very resentful about TikTok, but I get it.
Yeah, it is what it is, and that's where all the cool kids are, I guess. So I guess we'll get on TikTok. And then
Apple Tunes. Make fun of him. See,
did I say Apple? Did I say Apple Tunes? Oh,
you did.
She's always here to support me, isn't she, Rob? She's always here to support me. I appreciate it. What is it? iTunes. Yeah. I'm an idiot.
Apple Podcast. That's okay. I got you guys.
Is it Apple Podcast? You. See, because I'm not on it. I don't know. I only do Spotify, which anyways, I was doing Pandora for like a million years, and I just started doing Spotify, so I'm behind. And then we're talking about the Niagara Falls trip. We want to plan a trip.
It's happening.
And it's happening. Yeah, it's in the works. We're doing that. What else do we want to do? I feel like I'm forgetting
logo.
Something. We're going to get some logos going. T-shirts, mugs, merch, coffee cups, merch.
Send them out to our friends
apples. Here. Yeah.
Apple basket, bobbing for apples. Name that apple.
Oh God.
Maybe that should be the logo. Is an apple. We're never gonna let Murph live it down.
I love it.
Now, we did have one goal that we didn't really share with a lot of people in regards to what we were thinking. And this is something that, I think sort of intensified when we had our episode last episode 2 weeks ago with Barry Nation. You want to share that one?
People are just sorry. Reaming you, Murph.
You guys are. I thought we were friends. I'm like, oh, yeah. I can take it. My skin is much thicker now than it's ever been.
As thick as an apple, perhaps.
Probably.
On YouTube as well.
Nice.
Just kidding. He's not.
So one of the things we only have a few minutes left. So for the sake of time, I'm going to ignore all these haters and we're going to move on. Jeez.
Thick skin, like an apple.
One of the things that we were talking about doing, Rob and I, were talking about adding a third person to the mix, to the Waiting Table podcast. We wanted to have just a third individual. It didn't necessarily have to be male or female, but I think we were leaning more towards a female. And just for the perspective, the sake of perspective for females, because our audience, I think, is, it's a good mix. I think half and half, maybe a little bit leaning more towards females. So anyways, can came across this one person's story and YouTube channel, and we talked, and we said, hey, let's meet up. We want to have you on the show. And we interviewed. We totally lied. And then we called her back about 5 minutes later and said, Shea, we would love to have you as the third person on the Waiting Table podcast. And we lied to you. That wasn't that was an audition. And so anyways,
I guess.
So before, yeah, right. So she felt totally guilt tripped into it. So she reluctantly accepted.
No, I was so excited. I'm like, the best relationships I've had in my life have always started with some deceit. So I'm super stoked.
There you go.
No, I'm joking. I was shocked and like so honored. Like I just felt a connection with you guys before even meeting you. And so I felt honored that you thought that you guys have cultivated such a cool space. Yay! You guys have cultivated such a cool space and community and a family, and to allow me to step into that with you, I feel really humbled and honored and like so stoked. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, so it's been amazing, and thank you everyone for sort of jumping in and taking part in Shea's very first episode and our last episode of 2023. Oh my god, I'm
2022.
2022. Thank you very much, Murph. Oh my god. So yeah, we're gonna sign off at this point because we're pretty much out of time. But I just want to thank everyone again for sticking by us for 2022 and everything you've done. Thank you, Elise, for being so supportive of Murph through everything. And yeah, we really do appreciate you guys. So again, that's all the time we've got for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us on the Waiting Table podcast,
where we're serving the weight loss community.
1 pound and 1 laugh at a time.
Ooh, it worked.
I like it. Good job. Happy New Year's, everybody.
Added my spin.
I like it. Happy New Year's, everyone. Love y'all.
God bless. Another woman to make fun of these two. See, I'm just catching up on this.
Yeah, see?
That's what I'm all about it. Get ready, boys. You don't know what you signed up for.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care. See ya. All right.
Oh.
Is that me?
I think so. Okay, cool.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. That was so cool. We're still live on here?